The Kenya Veterinary Association, KVA, has raised serious concerns about the government's upcoming initiative to vaccinate 22 million cattle, urging an immediate suspension of the program to allow for proper public engagement and consultation. This vaccination campaign, set to commence in January, has sparked widespread debate, with critics questioning the lack of transparency and stakeholder involvement in its planning. Dr. Kelvin Osori, national chairman of KVA, issued a pointed critique of the program, emphasizing that the association was excluded from its conceptualization and development. He argued that the government's justification for the vaccination, particularly its focus on controlling greenhouse gas GHG emissions, is misplaced. According to Dr. Osori, this is not an urgent priority for Kenyans, who first need to understand the program's goals and implications. In his statement, Dr. Osori called for clarity regarding the diseases targeted by the vaccination, the rationale behind it, and the sponsors funding the initiative. He highlighted the government's failure to engage key stakeholders, including veterinary professionals, farmers, and community leaders, leading to a wave of misinformation and resistance among livestock keepers and the broader public. There was no stakeholders' engagement, Dr. Osori stated. The government rushed this program without involving us, even after public controversy arose. This lack of transparency has sown mistrust and confusion, both among livestock farmers and within professional circles. He warned that inadequate public sensitization could undermine the campaign's goals, potentially exacerbating disease outbreaks instead of preventing them. The association also criticized the government's use of heavy-handed rhetoric to gain public support, asserting that fostering trust requires dialogue, not coercion. According to KVA, Kenyans deserve clear answers to several critical questions. What diseases will this vaccination address? How long will the program run? Who is funding it? These gaps in communication, Dr. Osori argued, have only fueled skepticism about the campaign's intentions. Dr. Osori further noted that some of the diseases targeted are localized and do not justify a nationwide vaccination effort. A vaccination campaign should be tailored to specific regions, he explained. Diseases like foot and mouth disease, FMD, are not widespread across the country. The government should focus on vaccinating affected areas rather than applying a blanket approach. As for the claims about reducing greenhouse gas emissions, we as an association cannot substantiate those allegations. Despite its criticisms, the KVA reaffirmed its support for strategic and targeted efforts to control livestock diseases such as FMD and Peste des Petits Ruminants, PPR. However, it stressed that these efforts must be informed by evidence, guided by stakeholder input, and implemented transparently. The association also called for the government to address more pressing challenges in the livestock sector before committing billions of shillings to the vaccination program. These include improving animal health care infrastructure, addressing endemic diseases in high-risk areas, and equipping farmers with the resources they need to sustain their livelihoods. KVA's call to pause the vaccination program reflects a broader concern about the disconnect between policy decisions and the realities faced by farmers and veterinary professionals. The government needs to pause the whole program, Dr. Osori stated. It's a pity that even a professional organization like ours doesn't know what's happening. The cow belongs to the people, not the government. As it stands, the government aims to vaccinate not only 22 million cattle, but also 50 million goats, sheep, and other small livestock next year. While this is an ambitious plan, KVA's criticisms point to a significant challenge: ensuring that large-scale public health initiatives are well-informed, collaborative, and sensitive to the communities they aim to serve. This situation highlights a critical lesson for policymakers. Effective public health campaigns require more than just bold goals. They demand transparency, trust building, and a willingness to listen to those most affected. Without these elements, even the most well-intentioned programs risk failure, mistrust, and resistance, as seen in this unfolding controversy.